Hello everybody, welcome back to Obey Gnome. This is the Captain speaking. I hope you've all had a beautiful day so far. Today we're going to be looking at a game called Proteus, as you can see in the background here. This was a fairly recent release. You can actually find this on Steam. I'll be sure to include a link in the description. But as you can see here, it's got kind of an 8-bit like style here. This is a game that is very much about the visuals. In fact, it's very limited as far as the controls go. You actually have the WASD to move around, mouse to look, and that's about it. There isn't really any interacting with things directly in the traditional sense. This is something here, it's a randomly generated island every time you play, and you basically just wander around. Things interact, things change when you get closer and further away. Kind of the neat thing about this is not only is the visual aspect of that randomly generated, but actually the audio, the music itself, is randomly generated as well. So as you become closer and further away from certain aspects in the environment, like trees, animals, water, that sort of thing, as well as how high you are in the terrain and how close you are to the edge of the island, all those kind of things actually change the procedurally generated music. So you actually get a completely different experience every time. And I'll go ahead and show you guys. Let's see, right here while we're on the main menu. While you're playing, you can actually take postcards, which are actually kind of snapshots. I took a couple to make sure this one's saved here. But basically that takes not only a save of the screenshot, but it actually links directly to that part of that specific world you're in. So every time you play, it randomly generates. There aren't really save files. It's meant to be played in kind of discrete settings. But basically, like I said, you can leave these little screenshots that will actually take you directly back to that place in that world, so you can kind of save specific moments as you're playing. So without much more explanation, let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, it's kind of generating the world as we speak here. Taking a moment, and as you're going to see in a moment here, it is a really interesting visual style. It plays very much off of like a retro kind of an 8-bit feel to it, but it is very much still completely 3D. It makes it feel really unique. There are certain things, certain aspects, and you'll see them as I play, that kind of share between the worlds. But I've played through it a couple times myself. It takes anywhere from a half hour to 40 minutes sometimes. And every time you play, it kind of gives you a different set of experiences here. So let's see, it starts you off the ocean. Where is the island? Is that? I'm hoping it's over there and I'm not just walking out in the middle of the, oh, there we go. Okay, it is loading in here. So it kind of starts you off, let's see, in the middle of the ocean here. We're just coming in. Here we go, now we are on the island. It starts out, I believe, in like a spring sort of a setting here. So as you can see, as I'm kind of nearing things, they kind of interact a little bit, change. But as you can see, it is very much, completely 3D in the way things are presented, but it's just done in a way that leaves it feeling like, really good pixel art. See, and I think I heard a frog. Here they are. See, and as you're going through this, there are these little kind of creatures, that sort of thing, that appear. Just kind of interact when you get closer here. It kind of changes how the music is procedurally generated. Let's see, there's a nice tall mountain here. Let's go to the top of that. There's a very large castle-like structure there. Let's go to the castle. I think that's a little bit closer. I believe those are supposed to be frogs, at least. I would assume so. And then there's like a little ostrich-type birds that kind of skitter away. You see, like this, I'm assuming these are tombstones. This line of tombstones is actually something that, if I follow them, you see the birds kind of skitter away as you follow them. It's completely randomly generated, so this is something that just kind of appears as it's procedurally generated, and it leaves these really interesting kind of features. Here's some more birds. Oh, I'm sorry, I got totally distracted. And then that'll happen quite a bit. So let's go ahead and look at this structure up here. And you can see as I go off of the grass and onto kind of more of a slope and higher up the mount here, it starts to change a little bit. I hope I have the volume mixed up loud enough here. So you can hear different elements being added in. See, these are rather large structures, and at certain times, like I said, it does change seasons eventually, and I hope I can show you that in just a second here. I'm not going to show a full playthrough. One, it ends up being quite long, and I think if you guys want to play this at all, I don't want to spoil too much, because a lot of this is really, really awe-inspiring experiences here. But as you can hear up here, it's a little bit different. It's not a great example, not the best sounding, but that's kind of what you see, is as you're kind of wandering around, it kind of changes the music in relation to where you're at. I haven't seen this before. Like a little graveyard here. But as I was saying before, the experience is different every time, but there are a couple key things that I saw when I was playing through the first couple times. I'd like to avoid kind of spoiling for you guys, because there are really interesting things that come up with this. They come up with the procedurally generated world, and there are things, the way that things interact. As you can see here, the clouds are moving over. And it's raining. Let's see, it kind of becomes a little more kind of a twinkling kind of music. It's just great. I would really recommend picking this up. It is a supremely relaxing game. It is hard to feel anything but just kind of a sense of exploration and just kind of calmness when you're playing this. Wow, I mean, look at this. This is so cool. These lines of like these structures. I'm gonna fall. That's something I haven't seen before, so it's something that is very, very different every time you do play it. I think this is just going to lead me over to more water on the other side of the island here, actually. Yep, I was right. Okay. So it looks like that might split up the island. So let's see, I'm looking around, and there's actually something in particular we're looking for. This is kind of the key to moving to the different parts of the game. Let's see, let's go down this hill here. And just the way that it renders that kind of pixel look in 3D is just gorgeous. Like the layers of clouds have so much depth, but it has that really nice kind of pixel art kind of look to it. It's just wonderful. Hear the frogs making kind of croaking noises down there on their own. Let's see, as it gets further into nighttime, we should be able to see what I'm looking for. Oh, and what you see up there is actually, those are kind of figures. I'm not going to go all the way over to them, but they're kind of figures in a circle, and kind of depending on what season you go to and when you actually look at them, different kind of environmental things happen. And oh, here it is. So these little lights here start gathering at night, and they all gather in one kind of cohesive area. It's usually in this kind of circle of stones here. As you come in, they all kind of start to gather here. And as you go towards the center here, just the time starts to speed up and go by. It's beautiful seeing everything go that fast. And then as you walk in, bumping right on top of some grass here. And now we are actually in summer, and so everything gets much brighter. There's actually these dragonfly things that appear. And just the overall tone, just the theme of everything just changes quite a bit between the seasons. And when you're playing it, it is very noticeable. I know I'm talking over a lot of the music, but it does actually give each season a very different feel. And as you kind of go in autumn and stuff, like the dragonflies start to die, and there's all kinds of different changes that happen to the environment. Here's a magic frog. super far. Here are these bees. They'll chase you. And as you can see, I mean, there's nothing that really causes you harm in this game. There's not a lot of conflicts. I mean, it is a very relaxing experience. It's very much about exploring, kind of approaching different things at different times of the seasons, different times of day, and it does actually drastically change, and certain things interact in different ways. And I hate explaining this, so I'm going to kind of stop it right there, but this is definitely a game I would recommend picking up. This is something that is kind of very much in the vein of like Dear Esther. It's something that's designed to be an experience, kind of something longer. And I mean, it does kind of stir up quite a few emotions. There are quite a few things in here that are very somber when you get more into winter. I mean, the summer is kind of very happy. I mean, everything's kind of dancing. The flowers are kind of pulsing. You know, everything's got this kind of happy movement to it. So I mean, it is very much a very good experience. It very much demonstrates, you know, a lot of emotions through the gameplay itself. Whereas something like Dear Esther was interesting because of like the writing, you know, that sort of thing that was given. I feel like this is a much better example of what games can really do as an art form. This is an experience, the way that everything is generated together, the way it changes when you move around, the way it's different each time you play. This is something that is not really something that can be replicated in books or movies or paintings. You know, it's something that is a very good example of what games do and what they do best. So I definitely recommend giving it a try. Again, I mean, something like Dear Esther, it offers the same kind of emotions, but Dear Esther was very much largely a writing experience. So like I said, I'll leave a link in the description. I definitely recommend checking this out. It's a wonderful thing to play through at least a couple times, and it is very cheap. I think it's under $10 if you guys do want to look into picking it up. But aside from that, I mean, if you'd like in the future, I can do a further playthrough of this. But again, some of this stuff is a lot more interesting if it's not explained and if you can just experience it for yourself. So if you got any thoughts or comments on this type of game, if you've played it before or anything like that, definitely make sure to leave it in the comments below. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. I'll leave those links below. That's where I'll leave updates for when new videos come out and when I'm doing live streaming. And please do give us a call at 2 Obeying Gnome. Leave any kind of comments, songs, thoughts, news clips, anything you want me to discuss, anything at all in there. If there's anything particularly noteworthy, I'll leave it at the show at the end of the week. So again, please do contact me however you like, favorite, subscribe if you can. It does help me show up further in recommended videos and subscriptions. And if you guys can start doing that, I can stop mentioning it so much at the end of videos. And I do appreciate you guys stopping in. And apart from that, I hope you have a beautiful day and do try out this game.